the corner. I wanted to bring you guys a special recipe this week. So I looked through my cookbooks and I found a really delicious dessert that I wanted to share with you. Now, a lot of times when I make a Valentine's dessert, I don't want a big, huge dessert. I like little individual size desserts that they're not too heavy and not too filling. And so I have a very delicious recipe for tarts. So you make the shell, it's very buttery crust, and then you've got a chocolate ganache filling and homemade whipped cream with a little sprinkle of cocoa powder on top. And they're only, about this big, and they're just perfect. You can have, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or just one, but they are super delicious and they're really not too hard to make. And so I am going to share that with you guys. We're going to make the tart crusts, the tart shells, and then we'll make the ganache, and then we'll put it all together. And I also wanted to mention that I have created a Valentine's dinner. It's a freebie that I'm giving, and it is a book. You can get the PDF, and it's a little ebook, and it's a complete menu for a really delicious Valentine's meal. That doesn't just have to be for Valentine's. It can be for any time that you would be having company or that you want a really nice dinner. So on Valentine's, I kind of felt like Hans was always the one that was spoiling me, taking me out to dinner, and it was kind of like I wasn't really doing much for him. And so I had decided that I wanted to create or make him his favorite dinner and kind of extend Valentine's into a 2-day little celebration. And so on one day he takes me out, and on the next day I make him his favorite dinner and serve that at home. And so a lot of times when I'm making a whole entire dinner, I kind of can feel a little bit stressed out, like there's a whole bunch that I'm trying to accomplish and getting it all to pull together at the end. And on Valentine's Day, like I wanted it to be just a romantic, relaxing evening, a dinner for 2, and not feel super stressed out. And so a lot of times when I'm trying to accomplish that, I will write a timeline, and I do it over the period of 2 or 3 days, and I'll write down all of the things that I can get done the day before, and then the morning of, and then the evening. So I'll do this if I'm doing a birthday dinner for him, or if I'm doing a big company dinner, like Christmas or Thanksgiving, or just having company in general. And it has really helped me take the stress out of preparing a full course meal. And so I decided that for Valentine's I would create a menu, I would create a timeline, and then I would create a tutorial where we kind of made the whole entire dinner, and we went through the steps starting the day before, the morning of, and then the evening. And so I've done that. And so you can hop on over to my blog and you can get the printable recipe for these tarts, but you can also find the link there to access my little Valentine's ebook. Has the grocery list, the timeline, and all the recipes, and you can get the link to head on over to my YouTube channel, which if you're already here, you can just go down into the freebies and you'll see the tutorial there. But whether you head on over to my blog or you look around my YouTube channel a little more, I hope that you find it, because it's a really delicious meal. But in that meal, I created an entire cheesecake, and then for this tutorial, I'm doing little individual tarts. So you can choose which recipe you would like to use, and but just whatever you do, just choose one of them and get it made for Valentine's Day, because you guys will absolutely love them. They're both super delicious. So we're going to get started on the chocolate ganache tarts for this tutorial. All right, we're going to want 1/2 cup of soft butter and 3 ounces of soft cream cheese, and we're going to beat that together. If your cream cheese and butter are softened, that should just take really quick. And now we're going to want to add 1 cup of flour, and we're going to mix this in. our dough is a nice, soft, pliable dough. So we're going to divide this into 24 servings. And I have a tart press, and you just put it right in the middle and press down, and it makes a perfect tart. You can do it by hand. You would just press in the middle and form it to the sides. It takes a lot longer, that's why I bought a press. And just do that to all of the dough balls. Now we're going to want to go and put these into a preheated oven that's been preheated to 325, and we're going to cook them for 20 to 25 minutes. We want them to be a golden brown, and then we're going to take them out and we're going to cool them completely. It'll maybe take them out of the muffin tin and put them on a cooling rack so they'll cool really quickly, and then we'll get to whipping the ganache. To heat up some heavy whipping cream and some chocolate, and that's going to be our ganache. So we've got 2/3 cup of heavy whipping cream we're going to add to a heavy bottom saucepan, and then we're going to add a 1/2 cup. And this time I'm just going to use a cup of chocolate pieces. I have 72% cacao dark chocolate, but you could add a 1/2 cup of milk chocolate, and you could add a 1/2 cup of dark chocolate, really any kind of chocolate that you would like. So we're just going to give it a stir, and once it's melted, we'll take it off the heat. Make sure you melt this on low heat, and you stir often. Like as it's really getting melted, you might want to stir continually because you just don't want this to scorch. Now this is fully melted, so I'm going to take it off the heat, and we're going to transfer it to a glass bowl. Cover this and place it in the refrigerator, and we're going to leave it in the refrigerator until it is beginning to firm up, and then we are going to beat it with a hand mixer. And you could do it in a KitchenAid, but I'm just going to use a hand mixer today. So the ganache is firm now. You can see just how firm it is. It just sits on my spoon. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in a bigger bowl, and we're going to whip it with a hand beater, electric beaters, and make it more into like a really thick frosting consistency, and then we'll be able to put that into the tart shells. Fill these up. So just disperse the mixture amongst the 24 tart shells, and if you have to take some out and even it up, just, you know, you have to just eyeball it, how much goes in each one. side, and then now we're gonna go and whip the whipping cream to put on top. Now we're ready to make the whipped cream. We're gonna take the rest of the whipped cream that's in the carton, and we're gonna put it in a bowl along with just a bit of powdered sugar. I just put a little dash in, not too much, because we've already got sweetness in the tarts. And now we're just gonna whip it to soft peaks form. Well, I hope you found that fun to watch. If you did, I'd love it if you gave me a thumbs up, and hopefully you're inspired to head on into your kitchen and create some tarts for yourself. Now, I do post here weekly, and I bring super delicious food to my channel. So you're gonna wanna subscribe and click that little bell so that you're notified every time I post and you don't miss any of my recipes. And don't forget to click the link below to get your printable recipe for these tarts, and also to be able to find that Valentine's dinner ebook that I've created for you along with the tutorial making it. So go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.